Welcome back to another episode of Let's Chat Podcast, y'all. I am your host, JoJo.
And I'm Tyra.
Ooh.
What's poppin'?
What's crack-a-lackin'? Do people say that shit anymore? I don't know. I said it. It is what it is.
They do, I'm sure. Everyone has their own little slang out here.
That's my favorite thing to do. I don't know why. Anyway, I don't really got nothing, so holla at me. Throw a dollar at me. Yeah.
All right, well, let's open with a quickie.
Ooh, I forgot we do this.
She forgot. Okay. What do the women you've dated have in common?
Me.
Come on. Something better.
Okay.
No.
Literally me.
No.
I'm just saying.
You can't say that.
Why? That's too
Yeah.
conceited. No, but literally, I did date two girls who ended up together, and all they had in common was me.
Oh, you did.
Anyway, you want a better answer though? I really don't know. You give me one. Since you're looking at me like it's hard.
Just think.
I'm literally just thinking.
I'm gonna assume for you.
What?
I feel like you've only dated Latinas, have you?
No.
Oh, you did date a white girl. I keep forgetting.
Which is funny because for the longest time, I feel like I was always like, oh, I need me a Spanish girl. I need me a Spanish girl. Like, I want a Spanish girl so bad. I want and when I said that, like, I had dated Spanish girls, but I wanted like a New York Spanish shorty. Like, up north Spanish shorties, like, I'm mad I'm even saying shorty, but whatever. But like, they're so Hispanic.
Sometimes I feel like I'm too Hispanic for you.
I feel like you're not.
I feel like I am.
Why?
Because I feel like sometimes, well, the Spanish thing, obviously, like we struggle with that.
Okay.
Because I speak Spanish and you don't. And I feel like there's a...
But she don't even do it in front of me. Unless she with family, she don't do it in front of me.
I really do, though. I really do.
Okay.
And I mean, like, what's the point of speaking in Spanish by myself?
Nah, you can't think like that.
So I'm just supposed to speak in Spanish?
Yeah, because it's going to come eventually.
Oh, okay.
I was on TikTok today, and you know what I learned? I don't know why I'm saying it like I learned, but I guess we're so, like, accustomed to our environment that we don't even, and this is why I love to get perspective. We don't even think outside of, like, our norm, you know? So I saw a TikTok where this girl was talking about I just learned that there's a such thing as British Latinas. And I was like, oh,
you haven't seen those girls?
No,
I love them.
No, I have not. I have not
really?
heard. I have not seen. So
I have to send it to you because it's so cool.
When she said that, and I was like, that's fucking facts. And I ended up clicking the hashtags that like British Latinas. And I was like, oh my God, it just changed the game.
It's crazy. Because they have a British accent and then they have a Hispanic accent.
That's fire, because I feel like when you have a British accent, especially in their slang and how they speak, like I feel like their terminology and like way of speaking and slang is like fire already. It's already like funny as hell. And I'm just like, damn, like, and then the accent on top of it is fire. So it's like, yo, they have a
good accent.
I'm about to say like that's like a win, because
like people never listen to Americans and be like, oh, love that accent.
Right. So it's like, oh, you can speak English and Spanish. All right. Like,
it's not cute. But when I've gone to Europe and I'm talking to them, they're like, you live in America, but you have this different accent. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I'm Hispanic, like, obviously. But they were like, but yeah, like, what are you? And then it's like, they're always trying to guess, obviously, what I am. But I just don't look Puerto Rican and Dominican sometimes. But the reason why I say that sometimes I feel like I'm too Hispanic for you is because, like, I'm so Hispanic sometimes that, like, I don't know American culture. Like, I don't know music sometimes, or like R&B music at times, or like R&B artists, or like movies, or like things that people are like, what, you've never seen that? I'm like, never. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I've never sat down and watched it because that's not what they were watching in my house.
Right.
um so I could be like very clueless to things. And like right now, obviously, as an adult, I could educate myself on it, but there's some things that I literally have no interest in.
Yeah.
Like music, okay, but like, am I gonna learn the lyrics in 2 days?
Probably not.
No. I could vibe to it, but I'm not gonna like know the fucking lyrics.
Yeah.
And I feel like that turns people off.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what can I do? I really don't care. Because I I always say, like, I wasn't born here, bro. Like, I really don't know what you want me to do. Like, it's who I am. Am I supposed to just like become this like educated person like right now, right then and there, if I'm also not interested in it? Like in the movies and things like that. Like, yeah, I could listen to your music and I could get accustomed to it, but I don't
It's
know.
doing the most.
It really is doing the most. I mean, if you're not that interested in it, I guess. I don't know. Call me ignorant. But I also feel like it's because like you meet a lot of Hispanic people and like their family speaks English. But like my family, they do speak English, but some of them really don't speak English at all or don't understand you. And like for the most part, I feel like most of my family speak Spanish.
I think it's even more annoying is that because we're in this era where you either do speak Spanish or you don't. You're either a part of your culture or you're not.
Right.
Like, and it's annoying because I feel like it kind of divides up the community a little bit, like the
It
Latin
does.
community,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like, oh, well, you're not Spanish enough,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, nobody fucking wants to be told they're
Yeah.
not Spanish enough. Like,
Right.
that shit's
And
mad insulting.
even if you read all the books and watch all the movies and like listen to the music, is it gonna make you Hispanic enough? Like, I don't, like, maybe you gotta live in the fucking place to like really
No, yeah.
really be like, damn, like I feel like I'm part of the culture. Something that you have to literally practice every single day. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the language.
Yeah, you have to expose yourself to like
Mm-hmm.
the environment in a sense of like you're getting the repetition.
Right. And I
know?
feel like the difference between us is like you weren't like literally was born in Puerto Rico and then I lived with my grandma in DR. So like I have the privilege of like being able to like obviously live that life. So that's why I know that culture and that's why I speak the language.
Mm.
If I didn't, like my little brother, he doesn't go to DRs in the summers. Like I would go to when after I lived in DR, like then I came to the US, and every summer though I would come to DR or Puerto Rico. Every summer, my mom would send us to DR or Puerto Rico, and obviously, if you're there for 2 months, like you're gonna know the language, you're gonna know the culture, you're just gonna know it, and like it sticks with you as you grow older. And even until I was like 15, I was going to DR. I mean, I was going to PR every summer to visit my dad. So I feel like I had the privilege to actually be in it, live in it. And now as an adult, obviously it stuck with me. And I feel like you didn't have that because like your family is mainly here.
Yeah.
But like I feel like if things were different, of course,
Right.
like your best friend Fig, like she's super Puerto Rican. It's because she has a lot of family over there. She's always traveling over there. So like I think that obviously has an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm salty. I mean, I got family in Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
but none of like my immediate family. So I just think it obviously it was it's a shitty situation in terms of like, I don't know. I don't think I'm not that Hispanic. I got a little bit of juice
Mm-hmm.
between both sides of my family, but I do wish it was like I, I had more.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we went on a tangent, but
That part. So you didn't answer the question.
what I don't remember what the question was. What are the women you've dated have in common? Well, I haven't been on a dating spree like you, so
Do you want to?
No, I
Do
don't.
you want to?
They don't have anything in common, truly. I mean, if I really think hard, I would say bougie, for sure. Like they definitely like the finer things in life. Like different aesthetic, but bougie to me. Cause like I don't care about name brands, but they love their name brand shit. I was like, okay, girl, do your thing.
Okay.
I don't got money for that, but okay.
Me Eva. Me the fuck Eva.
And you're not like that
at all.
Yeah, it's not something that bothered me, but it was just like, yeah, I'm not. I don't know if I could afford you.
If it looked good on me, or like I'll just fuck with it and I really want it, I'm gonna get it. But I'm not gonna pay because it's Apple.
Right.
Or, oh, it's Nike.
Well, actually,
All
if
right,
it's
relax.
Apple, if it's Apple or Android, I don't know.
All right. But anyway, that's our quickie, y'all. Like she said, we went on a tangent. But to get into last episode, we talked about the different, sex drives partners have and the types of sexual desire. So we did put up a poll on Spotify where the question was, which sexual desire do you most relate to? And about 57.1% said spontaneous desire. For those of you who don't remember what that means, it's fucking clear as day. It's just sex on the fly, it don't take nothing to get
spontaneous, girl.
Yeah, it don't take nothing to get sexually aroused. A little rubbing and bumping and you're ready to rock. And then 42.9% had voted for responsive desire, and responsive just meant that you needed a little bit more effort to oil you up and get to the the fun parts.
For people who don't follow us on social media, because I feel like I've heard of people who listen to the podcast and they don't have any social media. Yeah. Go to like your partner's phone or whatever and just like go to like our recent episodes where we talk, like put these clips, and go to the comments just so you can read like people's opinions and thoughts. And like I like shit even if I don't agree with it, because cool, you're giving your input, and then like other people give their input. Sometimes people like to argue. It is what it is. I've stopped responding to comments, like negative comments, really, because like I'm not doing it.
What's the point?
Like
we already talked about it. We had our conversation. We gave you our juice and opinion.
Yeah.
We're not gonna fight about it. That's what y'all want to do. Listen, the section's open.
Yeah, but like I think it's just good to like get other people's perspectives and like just look at like the comments. I think they're interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so other thing I wanted to talk about, which is like kind of random, but I feel like I could tie it into today's episode, is with the Pulse nightclub. Obviously, like you weren't born under a rock. Like, over 7 years ago, I think it was in 2016, June 12th. There was a really.
Damn, I didn't even realize it was that long ago.
It was. This guy, I don't even know if I should say his name because I feel like, I don't know. It's just, sometimes people just give me like the ick. Like, you're a terrible person. But this guy, he opened fire in the gay nightclub and he killed 49 people and he wounded over 53 people. And at the time, it was the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. The year after that, there was another shooting that was like over that. But now the city of Orlando is moving forward with plans to create a memorial on the property of the Pulse nightclub. And I was listening to a podcast because you guys know I love to listen to a podcast, but it was kind of like a podcast that talked about the shooting and just went into detail about like what happened that night. And I feel like I kind of just want to go back in time. So like in 2016, do you remember like this happening, and like where were you and like how did you feel? Because at this point you were out, right? 2016.
Yeah.
I remember I was a junior in college and it was during Pride Month. But for me, I wasn't out yet, and I feel like I was obviously shocked, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, during Pride Month, like, why would something like this happen? And like, my best friend at the time, who I'm still obviously best friends with, Steve, like, it was really like, it affected him because he was openly out and he was my best friend. So it was like, to him, it was personal, and I definitely understood where he was coming from, and like, I was definitely there for him to like listen and listen to him vent and stuff like that. But like, do you remember that time, or like, were you just like, because I feel like when things like this happen, people either like shy away from it because they're just like in such shock, or like they're just like, I don't even know what to say, so I'm just gonna stay quiet, or like, what were your thoughts during that time?
I think the common thought is like, damn, could that happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of where you're at, even it, it being that it happened in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
it's not to say that it couldn't happen here, right?
Right.
So I think what it just put me into a shy of where it's like, damn, what's the point of even going outside,
Right.
Um, not that it took away like my sense of pride. I think it more than anything, it like it's like it lights a fire in you, I guess so
Mm.
to say, because you're like, yo, I don't know, I don't like to talk about situations that I haven't necessarily been in. You can only
Mm-hmm.
think about it, and you could think that like you would react a certain way,
Right.
um, and then it'd be a completely different person in the situation when it actually happens. Um, but all in all, I thought that that was absolutely a fucked up situation, like the
Mm-hmm.
worst thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to really say it, but I go to Woody's often,
Mm-hmm.
often. And for those of you who don't know what Woody's is, um,
It's a gay nightclub in Philly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to think like, wow, like so many people come here. There's so many different rooms, 2 different floors,
Right.
like there's so much opportunity, and to know that anybody could just come in here and do such a horrible thing like that,
Right.
that feels so much hatred, or feel like they have enough power to come in
Mm-hmm.
and take so many lives
Yeah.
just because they don't agree with their way of living, or
Mm-hmm.
it's beyond crazy to me. So I think more than anything it was just like, all right, I need to be aware of my surroundings, um have keep company around that I know would have my best interest in my and will have one
Mm-hmm.
another's backs, and say, essentially be safe.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't really
Mm-hmm.
remember in details
Yeah.
like
Of course.
where or what I was doing in that time.
I feel like it wasn't as like I feel like I truly remember where I was when like 9/11 happened. Like, that was like crazy, obviously.
Right.
But in this case, I don't really remember, but I also feel like, as someone who wasn't out but wasn't like secretly dating or like secretly exploring my sexuality, I think it did shy me away from like being gay. Like, I was just kind of like, the world really hates gay people. Like, it is true. You're truly not safe. I know now you're not safe anywhere. You could go to a grocery store, it's a fucking problem. The movies,
Yeah.
problem, right? But we can't live in fear like that either. But like, I at that point I was like, that it's terrible. And like, I would like to go to like, I would go to Pride all the time. Like, I would go to Pride just with my friends. And I remember that year I was like, I don't even think I should go to Pride, like, because it was it was in June, and Pride in New York was at the end of the month. And I don't think I did go, but I did go the following year because it was kind of like you said, a fire, and you were just like, I don't know, like, I feel like we can't be like cooped up and like not go out because of things like this, right?
Yeah.
um but yeah, it was, I could link the podcast because it kind of went into detail, and like, it had interviews of people who were there that night. And they talked about their experience, very traumatizing. It was a very, very long night. Like, it wasn't like a shooting prop and everyone's like that. It was like this man was in there for a very long time, and he was like on a mission where people were like running to the bathroom, and he was going into the bathrooms and like shooting multiple times, and like just being weird. And like it was to a point where he was shooting so much that the gun got stuck, and then his rifle, not gun, because I think he had like two of them, and he was trying to like get it unstuck, and it wasn't working for him, so that took away some time. And then they obviously shot him. But yeah, it goes into detail about like his life and like how he was. And I don't want to get too much into him because he's clearly a psycho fucking path, but he was very troubled. Like, very, from like the moment that he was in fucking kindergarten, the boy had issues. We got to pay attention to things like that though, because like I feel like there were so many signs and it could have been avoided. And people, they're happy about like the nightclub memorial, but some people, I was reading and it said that some people felt like they have to go more into like the investigation. And they did do a lot of investigation, but this guy was he should have been on the terrorist watch list, and he was removed. And I don't know why they removed him, because if he would have stayed on this watch list, he wouldn't have been able to buy everything that he bought, that he used that night, like all the weapons and things like that. So it's frustrating that you hear these things and then you're like, wow, this could have really been avoided. If like I hate that I think like that, but sometimes I think about like, okay, so what was security looking like that night? Like, how do you guys let somebody in here that has like all these weapons? And like, even when we go to nightclubs, I'm okay with you checking everything. Like, if you gotta like pat me down, please do your job, because I'm not here to witness some tragedy and have PTSD for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not here for that. Um, but yeah, I think that it ties in with um today's podcast episode, because we're talking about allyship. And I feel like I don't think there's too many people that listen to this podcast that are like considered allies. I feel like 99% of people are gay. But I have read a comment where someone said that they do listen to a podcast and they're straight. So I do think that maybe some of them could relate to this. Um but like basically what you can do during a time where like something like this were to happen, because we know that unfortunately the world is crazy. And how you can be there like as an ally, like what you can do, because I feel like sometimes people are silent, but like that's not good to just be silent. Like, you sometimes you do have to say something, especially if you have gay friends. Like,
Yeah.
you feel me? Because I feel like if you're silent, it looks like you support it or something like that. Like, I don't know, it just looks bad at times.
I think we're just in an era right now where people are scared to speak up because it
Mm-hmm.
can get mistaken for any which way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Yeah.
you're damned
Damned
if
if
you
you do,
do, you're
damned
damned
if you
if you
don't.
don't,
Right.
right? It's like I could speak up and then it gets interpreted the wrong way. I could say nothing at all because I don't know what is the
Mm-hmm.
proper way or appropriate way for me to speak up and be that ally.
Yeah.
Um where it's like I can come off, you know, disrespectful or
Right.
condescending to you, you know?
Right, but like even like reposting something or like a quote or like something where you're like supporting like that community. Like, it's not just about LGBTQ people. Like, it could be allyship for, Black Lives Matter. Like, it's like things that are happening right now that are like important, like with the
Yeah.
Palestine and things like that. Like, I'm not too educated on it, so I'm not gonna go into that. But like, we know that there's a lot of crazy things going on right now. Um and obviously it's important to like educate yourself, but I do like to like look into that. I've tried in the past few weeks and months is like not really like go into that too much, just because I feel like my mental health just can't take it.
Mhm.
It just can't take it. Um but yeah, let's get into it.
So, like she said, we want to talk about, alliances and being that ally, so to say, amongst the LGBTQ plus community. Um, I mean, not everybody has a super positive coming out experience,
Nope.
Some are lucky enough to, and even then it's not always the easiest. In the mix of our struggle, I feel like we have to worry about not only about what we're feeling and what we're going through and what we're experiencing about ourselves and our sexuality, but we also have to think about how we come out will affect those that surround us.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we even have to go through a coming out process of telling those closest to us, like, this is how I identify or whatever, is a little extra, in a sense of like, oh, well, nobody else has to do that. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
straight people don't have to do that. They just
Mm-hmm.
get to come out and be like, hey, I got a boyfriend, I got a girlfriend, da da da.
Right.
But we have to go the extra length, right? So we're already coming from a stressful place, and like, we bear a lot of weight, is my point. So as an ally, I feel like, you kind of have to know what are the right things to do and the right way to support your friend or your family. Guess
Mm-hmm.
that's really it.
Yeah.
In situations like that, and provide a safe space for those to come to you and disclose such important information, because at the end of the day, it's important to them more than anything.
When my best friend came out to me, I remember I was like doing my hair and he came to my dorm room and he sat on the floor. He was like, I have to tell you something. And I'm over here thinking that like somebody died or like he's sick or something because he just seemed like so down. And I'm like, what's happening? And then like he came out. And at the time, it was actually me and the guy that I was dating. So he came out to the both of us. So I remember like asking him like, why were you like so like scared? And he was like, it was mainly because of like your boyfriend at the time. So I didn't know how he was gonna act. But we were like super chill about it. Like it was just like, that's fine. Like you over here scaring us like you sick or something. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. But we were just like, that's cool. Like now it makes sense as to why, because I was trying to hook him up with this girl.
Not it makes sense.
I was trying to hook him up with this girl, and like I was like, damn, like I was really trying to hook you up with this girl, and I was confused as to why you weren't interested.
Now the senses were sensing.
So to me, I was like, now it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I was like, the girl,
Or he just didn't like the girl.
yeah, that's true.
That's
That's true. But yeah, so funny.
I think the first time that I came out to my cousin. I was young. I was like 13, 14. And I was like, nah, I gotta tell somebody, because at the time I had like, it was my first time actually liking a girl. Like, I literally identified the feelings that, oh shit, I think I like her. So I guess I was really cool at the time, and I thought it'd be, I mean, most of my family members are girls anyway. So I was like, they understand. So I told her, and I was scared as fuck. But I just remember her being like, girl, that's fine. Like, and I don't know. There at that time, at least when I was younger, there was no like proper way or appropriate way of doing things, of being supportive, or like, what are the questions to ask. And, it was just kind of like, you're either going to give me hell for what I just told you, or you're going to be like, cool, calm, and collect about it. And for the most part, she was kind of just chilling. She was like, well, why do you feel that way? Or like trying to understand it in a sense too. But more than anything, I took it as she was pretty supportive. She didn't freak out on me and was like, I'm gonna go tell your mom. She was like, if that's what's gonna work for you, then that's what it is. So, for those of you, I feel like it's kind of hard though too, because like, again, damned if you do, damned if you don't. We have a hard time understanding things because there's so many different ways of interpreting things. So to start, what does being an ally mean? So before we read, because I did post a story on Instagram asking that same question, what is being a good ally to you? You want to pull that up so you can read it? I'll just read to you guys the some research I got off online. So what does it mean to be an ally? A person who has a genuine, strong concern for the well-being of LGBTQ plus people is a person who supports and accepts LGBTQ plus people and advocates for equal rights and fair treatment. It is a person who confronts challenges that LGBTQ plus people experience and believes that we face these problems in society, such as heterosexism, bi prejudice, trans prejudice, heterosexual privileges. For those of you who don't know what heterosexual privileges are, I'll read it to you right now. The everyday privileges straight people have in society, for example, the ability to display affection and attraction and holding hands to the opposite gender in public without fear of judgment.
Yeah, and I want to get into something real quick. Like for the straight girls, if you have a boyfriend and your boyfriend talks shit about like the gay community, like you're not an ally. Because if you were an ally, you wouldn't be dating somebody like that, or you would tell them about themselves. Like, don't talk about them like that. Like, don't talk negatively about LGBTQ community. Makes me uncomfortable. It's just not right. Like, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel so? Why do you have this
Comfortable to speak
hatred?
upon.
Yeah, and like, what? Yeah, why do you also feel comfortable sharing that with me?
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of that happens a lot, and it's like disgusting, and it gives me the ick that like some women are dating men who are that like homophobic and they're still like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like no, like that's no. Break up with them.
Relax, sweetheart.
But yeah, so we asked what makes someone a good ally, and this is what you guys said.
Some fairly good responses.
Yeah. Speaking up to other cis straights when there's no queers around, a consistent partner, standing up for the queer folk without them there when homophobic comments are made. When you address a homophobic comment in the moment, even if it's family. Someone who stands up for the community actively, no judgment. Someone who stands up for your rights. If they have discussions about homophobia with other straight people, somebody says celebration, not toleration.
I love that one.
Somebody said they simply do not take up space and support and buy me drinks and food. Someone who will stand up to hate and not stay quiet. Yeah, and we got like a few more and like some DMs too, and yeah, it's really just about like standing up for people and like not just like staying quiet when you hear like a homophobic comment.
Yeah. I think the whole celebration not toleration thing, I love that. And I always think about that. I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of people that's just like, okay, that's fine, it's your life, and then they just tolerate the idea that you're a part of the community, right? That you're gay, that you're trans, or
Yeah.
whatever, and they're like, but then turn around, like you said, and then be in a group of other straight people and be like, yeah, I don't know why people are like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like the fuck, like, and I think that happens a lot with our family. I think you have the ones that truly accept you, and they're like, listen, baby girl, it's cool. It's, you love who you love. You can't, like, whatever. But then there are certain members that are like, I just tolerate it because, like, you're not my child type shit. Like, it's really not my problem, I guess.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I mean, if they say it behind their back, that's on them.
My mom used to say it like,
oh my Lord.
It's not that I don't know. I think she still had her belief at one point. Like, she has her belief in like religion still, even though she's not that religious. And people are, they love to give the argument Adam and Eve. And
I hate it so much.
And at one point, which this was like, well, way before I even officially had came out to her, it was just like, at the end of the day, it's like, because the example I had was like my best friend and her brother.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle's gay. So she's like, why love them? That's not going to change who you are, da da da. You know, that's just a sin you have to answer to when your time comes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and say I accept it, but I tolerate it type shit.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, just keep that shit behind closed doors.
How old were you when she said that?
I don't remember the age range, but I was just like, all right, whatever, like I don't care. And then eventually I just think it's funny now because it's like I kiss you in front of her. I say, like, I literally, me and my uncle had the gayest conversation, the gayest of the gayest
Mm-hmm.
conversations when we were with her the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, who feels uncomfortable in this conversation now? But she was talking shit. She ain't say nothing about it. She wasn't like, that was weird. Like, we was raw talking.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just there like, okay, I don't think I can really relate, but
Yeah.
she was chilling. And I was just like, all right, I wouldn't have thought that I'd have been that, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like parents say these comments and they think that it doesn't affect us, but it does. Low key. It does.
I really don't care.
I mean, you don't care now, but I feel like back then,
I think
definitely stung a
it
little.
inhibited me
Uh-huh.
from like coming out to her.
Yeah.
That's why I think I would always be like, oh, let me see how she treats them or reacts in those terms. But then again, that's well, it's not my kid. So I always used to fear that too. It was like, oh, well, I guess when I finally come out, you know, she gonna have to be like, damn, well, I guess it is my kid. So how do I want to go about it? But she was pretty cool with it, essentially. I just think, I don't know. I just think that's interesting. But I love that celebration over toleration for sure.
Yeah. How do you feel about like straight people who go to like gay clubs or like celebrate like birthdays or like celebrate like bachelorette and all of that stuff?
I don't know. Obviously we're fun, thank you. I know. But I don't know, because I feel like it's usually women, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's not. So it's like, are you trying to live out some type of fantasy here, sis, before you get hitched? Like, what's really good?
No, I kind of find it annoying.
I don't know. I've never really
like
thought
I have
that much into it.
never gone to like back in the day where when I wasn't out, I had never gone to a gay club with my all straight friends, like a group of girls.
I don't know why, but I feel like that's like a normal thing now.
Now it is.
That's like the thing to do.
Yeah, because they feel more comfortable in gay places.
Yeah. Which I'm not surprised. It's easy for them to feel comfortable anywhere because they've never had to feel uncomfortable.
No, but they feel comfortable because when they go to straight places, guys hit on them. And guys could be very pushy. So I get that aspect of it, but sometimes it's like kind of annoying.
I don't know.
Because it's like, why are you here?
Why can't we keep our space?
No, because
I just think
because then we're confused. Because it's like, all right, if someone hits on you,
you're not confused.
I'm not confused. No, I'm not confused. But like for people who like go to a gay club, they're looking for somebody. Like they're out here searching. They see you. They don't know if you're gay or not. Like they're gonna try because clearly you're here. So clearly you have to be gay.
If you with this motherfucker, I'm gonna assume why else are you here? You
right?
Know? Like you gotta have the expectation to get hit on at some point by a female in here.
Right. So like I just hope that like if they are going and whatever they're celebrating or they're just going because they feel more comfortable, that they don't turn people down in like a nasty way. You know, because then it's like, then that's why people get annoyed because like now you being weird because people are hitting on you. Like it should really be a compliment that people are hitting on you.
I do think like it depends on how you go about the situation. Like you know that and that's one of the reasons why guys don't go to gay bars or gay clubs because they know like
they're gonna get hit
on. They're like you're gonna get hit on. Like I don't want to get hit on by a bunch of dudes, and it's like what makes you think a dude gonna look at you anyway?
Right. Nah, then they be offended, low key.
Yeah, right. But I just think it's how you carry yourself in those spaces too.
Right.
If you're gonna be offended because a female hit on you, like you're in a gay environment, like what the fuck am I supposed to think? I come to a gay club, I'm going to hit on women because I came here for like, you know? I don't know, but I just think, handle yourself accordingly. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be, I'm not gay. And then like trying to be all aggressive in this situation. Like, we sharing the space.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's always, I don't get too deep into it. We don't have that many spaces anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even think Woody's is a gay bar anymore or a gay club anymore.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I think it's just a free for all. Literally for all.
Nah, it really has, because I remember last time we went.
It was so many. I don't want to say so many men.
There was this
I don't want to ever
guy
say
who
that.
wasn't gay.
I'm about to say there's so many gay. Anywhere we go, I think where we share a space that's all like for all gays. There's always the gay men. I feel like are the vast majority.
Yeah,
because them motherfuckers go out.
Right. But what I'm saying, so last time we went, I think it was the last time. I had went to the bathroom, and in Woody's it'll be like a gender neutral bathroom. So you could go in there and there's like stalls, but like a guy could come out or a girl could come out.
Yeah.
And I went to the bathroom, I really had to pee, whatever. I'm not uncomfortable. And like a guy had came out and I think a girl came out, whatever, washing my hands. Then the guy starts talking to me, being like super super nice and friendly, whatever. I'm over here like, oh, he's gay, like I could have a conversation with him, whatever, we're talking. And then I don't know what he said, like he gave me a compliment, and then I said something like, well, you love my girlfriend or something like that. And then we came out, and then I told you like, oh, this guy, whatever, and he was making conversation, and like he was really cool, but he was saying how he was straight. And I was just like, you're not sad if you're straight, but whatever. Because I feel like later on, I saw him upstairs and he was chilling with some guy. I don't know. I just feel like he was like out here, like living his best life. Right. And that's fine. But it could be so confusing now.
Yes.
Because I don't know. Maybe he's exploring his sexuality.
And that's okay. Do your thing. But
yeah,
do it accordingly.
I'm like thinking to myself, is this man trying to hit on me? Like, we're at a gay club. He probably thought I was straight. He probably thought I was like a straight girl just in here.
Damn, that's a bad look. Maybe we do got too many straight girls. If you ain't giving none, get out. Say not. Anyway. All right, so I want to give you guys a list of do's and don'ts. There is a bunch of, I'm always looking up shit when it comes to our topics because I want to get, again, as you know, much facts or info that I can that I maybe didn't even know myself. So for anybody who's an ally or want to know the best way to be a good ally to your friend or your family members, you can go to the website, which will actually put the links in the description, but just so you know it right here, www.uis.edu, and they have an article on there of do's and don'ts. When like you have a person coming to you and coming out. You ever get offended when somebody like, has anybody told you, oh, like I knew you were gay?
No, they said they had a feeling, but no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always forget like you ain't been gay that long. I really be like, oh, and then you're like, oh, well, I only had about. Yeah. All right. Good for you. Do's, listen when he or she or they have to say to what they have to say and let them set the tone of the conversation. Number 2, ask appropriate questions. Number 3, be honest when you don't understand. 4 is remember the difference between sexual orientation and gender identity. 5 is ask about confidentiality and reassure them of your confidence. 6 is thank them for trusting you. 7 is treat them the same. And 8 is introduce them to your LGBTQ plus friends and peers. Don'ts, they correlate with the do's.
But should they introduce them to their LGBTQ friends and peers?
I feel like if they don't have a space or people to like relate to, I think it's nice to bring them into the group.
Yeah.
Not in a sense of like, oh, let me put you on to all my gays. It's like, oh, if you ever want to talk and you need more of this.
I feel like at times people do this thing where they think that just because they have a gay friend and then like all of a sudden now like you came out to them and you're gay that y'all should date.
Yeah.
Not every LGBTQ person dates each other. Right. And that's weird.
Well, it says that make sure you have their permission to like introduce them to others, but that's just in a sense of like, if you need
community.
Yeah, exactly. So the don'ts. 1 is don't rush them or fill in the blanks when they're telling you
Mm-hmm.
whatever they're telling you, if they're coming out to you, or let them set the conversation, like I said. Number 2 is don't ask about the person's sex life. 3 is don't use slang or offensive words. 4 is don't answer with "I'm LGBTQ plus" in quotations, or "well, duh," implying that you suspected it. 5, don't take it personally or assume they have a crush on you. 6 is don't bring up political or religion. Don't bring up politics and religion. Offer unsolicited advice or make rash decisions. Number 7 is don't try to instantly hook them up with your LGBTQ plus friends or out them to any of them
Right.
either.
Right.
And number 8 is don't tell them they should go to counseling.
Some people think that the A in LGBTQIA means ally,
Mhm.
and it doesn't. Because then that means that you will be part of the community too. Like, I read that somewhere and I was like, wow, you guys are crazy.
I think they got it confused with the whole gay straight alliance thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But the A in LGBTQIA stands for asexual.
Mm-hmm. Gotta learn something new every day. I got outed all the time, by the way, but whatever. People love to do that.
By friends?
Yeah. So do you have any do's or don'ts you feel like you want or would expect from an ally, or like in your coming out process?
I'm trying to think, but I feel like at work like it could be weird to talk about like your sexuality, but like that was one of the first things I brought up. And it was kind of like on purpose, but like also by mistake because I'm so used to talking about it. And when I got this job, like we had already started the podcast. And I think I was talking about you or something. And then I was sometimes like I say my partner, but then at times I'll say she. And I feel like you're like outing yourself already. But I really didn't care because I was like, I'm not going into a job where they have a problem with my sexuality.
Yeah.
Like it's just not a problem. And I'm not gonna like hide it and tiptoe around it and things like that. So like people know at work. I think one thing about work is like I'm the only Latina and I was the only gay person. Now we just got this gay guy. Um, but it's weird at times because you feel a little bit out of it, like you feel like an oddball. But nothing, nothing new. I've always felt like an oddball my whole life. So I guess do's and don'ts. I don't know. Like I feel like at work most people don't talk about like their sexuality, but it's a hit or miss as to like how people will react to it.
Yeah.
But you could really find some good friends at work, like that support you. And I feel like if they obviously follow you on social media, then they have a clue if they've seen anything. And people shouldn't treat you like any other way, especially like in a professional environment. It's just weird. But I don't really have any do's and don'ts. I feel like be yourself. For allies, I mean, I don't know if they're listening to this, but I hope that a few are listening and can take our advice.
Listen, you gotta go the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we do that every day with trying to be, considerate and appropriate and supportive for, our straight friends. It's like, why not go the extra mile to understand us?
That's true.
And want to be supportive of our, you know, rights and safety and the things that matter. But anyway, going into the end of to close out our episode before we get into the family meeting, are ways to be an ally. Stay informed, listen, learn, educate yourself, as we try to do here. You know, have conversations with your friends and ask them what is me being an ally look like for you, or like what do you expect of me in
Mm-hmm.
that position, you know? To some, these things matter, and to others, not that it doesn't matter, but they just have a different way or form of like receiving, you know, a type of support,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um which when I say that, I mean in the sense of like politics, you know. There's people who are really into the politics and the rights and things,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people who just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you know, they
It's just
just
so hilarious all that. Like, why does being gay have to be even political?
yeah.
It's just so like I can't stand it. But yeah, continue.
Another way is speaking up when offensive things take place. Like she was saying, you know, having a partner that just thinks it's funny or feel comfortable enough to, you know, talk shit about the community or someone you may know that's a part of the community. Just telling them that, hey, that's not right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not bring that up for conversation. If you don't have nothing nice to say, then don't fucking say it, basically.
You know what's funny? So after I came out to my dad in Puerto Rico, my sister was telling me how like my dad would say like homophobic comments, like just like being a typical like Puerto Rican old school type of dad. And she said that now he doesn't say those things.
Because it affects him directly.
Like now he does
He will
not.
get canceled by his daughter.
Right.
Crazy.
So like my sister would definitely probably say something to him if he
Yeah.
does.
But I think that that's like off the strength of like guys do a lot of things jokingly, and
Yeah, or
they
they
do
just
it.
love talking like
Yeah,
about
like
other
it
men.
it yeah, they don't, right. They just be talking shit and they think like it's just funny. Oh, it's funny. So no one ever speaks up and be like, "Yo, bro, that wasn't funny," you know?
It's hilarious. I mean, like they'll call like Dominicans, they'll call like someone who looks gay un pájaro, a bird. Don't ask me why, but like that's their thing. And like
So then who's the
maricón.
no. But
Oh,
yeah, I forgot
that
about that.
that's another
But
one. Don't be saying these things now that y'all
no, no,
learned.
no,
Now
no,
that
no,
y'all
no, no,
learned
no,
it.
no. Pato.
Yeah, that's the other thing they call that too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. My mom told me that years ago.
Puerto Ricans be saying that.
Yeah, and I
Uh
was
huh.
like, Pato, what?
Like a duck.
Yeah, pato, pato, pato.
Like what?
And
It's
that was
just
because
don't
we
no
had that was
sense.
because we had onesies that had ducks on it. Yeah, it was funny. Anyway, but yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And like random, but Dominican men, they're very homophobic. Do you see how they be dressed
I'm about
though?
to say that amazes me because the
Do you see
way
how they
they're,
dress?
yeah, it's
The
giving a
pants
little
be
tutti
real
frutti.
tight. The pants, they be wearing like skinny jeans at this point.
All right,
Like,
but now we're being stereotypical. Come on.
okay, well, some Dominican men, they wear very tight clothes. So I feel like for them to call other people pájaros and things like that, it's like look in the mirror.
Hey, that was y'all style. That's how y'all like them.
Stop it.
All right. Another example of ways to be an ally is be honest about your family and Jesus Christ. Be honest about your family and friends that are a part of the community. Don't hide it to not offend somebody or make someone, because you don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable, you know. I'm not saying you need to walk into every room and be like, "Hey, this is my gay uncle." Um but essentially like just don't, you don't have to hide it in a sense of like, oh, you know, no, everyone's strictly dickly in my family, or you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't been in those situations essentially, but I feel like I have heard of people like not being able to.
But what do you think about when people do say like, "This is my gay cousin"?
I think you're trying to out her. You're trying to put her on or
No, or
something.
like I feel like sometimes people just like that is your characteristic.
Being gay.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Do you think they're kind of just like forewarning them, like just know
No, I
they're a
think it was kind of
handful?
like this is the gay cousin I've told you about before
Okay.
type thing. I wouldn't take offense to it.
No, I mean I wouldn't, but I feel like they're, you could just be like, yo, that's the cousin I've been telling you about. And then that's when a friend be like, the gay one? All right.
Yeah, I guess. But then I feel like that's like a strong Like, I don't know, to say that the first like interaction is weird.
Mm. Um, another way is to support equal. Why can't I talk?
Every time we get into a tangent, I feel like you just
Yeah,
lose your focus.
right. Support equality such as policies in schools, workplaces, other places that support LGBTQ plus discrimination. Know that language matters. I feel like we
Mm-hmm.
kind of been talking about that, not saying, offensive shit just
Mm-hmm.
because you think that it's funny or it's been the norm to say it,
Yeah.
At this point, it's just being a little bit more considerate,
Yeah.
Like you were saying how your dad would say it and now he doesn't. So now
Mm-hmm.
he knows that language matters.
Yeah. My stepdad would never say things like that.
I love your stepdad.
Yeah. That's
Another way is check your privilege. And lastly, don't assume others' sexuality/identity is based off of what you see.
very true. You can't be assuming that just because someone's like a tom girl that they're gay.
And just because they wear tight jeans, Dominican men, that they're gay, right?
Right. Right.
But that's it for our episode, y'all.
Let's get into a family meeting.
Yeah.
All right. First question. I've been dating and staying with my girlfriend for over a year now. Last week, I caught her having sex with her coworker, a man, and he claimed he's her boyfriend. She's been coming home drunk, asking me for forgiveness, but I'm still hurting. I still have love for her at the same time. I feel like we are done. How do I deal with this situation?
There is no you feel like you are done, you're done. You're done up. It's over. It's done done bun. Bye.
Like,
How do I deal with this
what?
situation? I don't know. That's a lot. That's heavy.
I wonder what she meant. Like, I've been staying with her for a year now. Like, y'all live together? Or like you guys were just together for like a year. But like that means that she lied to you for over a year
That's a long time.
about her having a boyfriend.
So
Like it's
was
like,
the
do
boyfriend
people
there
not think
before,
that
or
STDs are a thing too? Like you out here just having sex with people, cheating, and like,
you know
oh,
why I think that's double crazy is because like you could get pregnant.
oh yeah, you can get
And if
pregnant.
you get pregnant, that's like earth shattering to come back to a lesbian and be like, "Hey, babe, I'm pregnant." And
Yeah,
it's like,
actually,
"Fuck do you mean?"
yeah, like actually, I have a boyfriend, and I'm pregnant now. What do you
That's
want
a
to do?
that's a tragedy. Um, I don't know. I don't feel like that's just like something you deal with.
Nah, she's toxic, and then she coming home drunk. Nah.
I think you definitely it's I can't tell you how you're gonna feel. Only you know how you feel. You know what you can tolerate. I don't think any of that is tolerable. I think that is the ultimate offense. For a year, you've held this relationship with somebody else, and not once did you feel or find the common decency to tell me. Um,
And then you caught her having sex with her coworker, who apparently is her boyfriend.
yeah, it's a
Like, did
lot of
you
moving
walk into
parts.
that? Like, damn, I have so many questions.
It's just a lot of moving parts. You want
Like,
them to DM you or
how do
something?
you not fight them?
Uh, she's crazy, y'all. Don't worry about her.
No.
Um,
But like that's crazy. So this is why people be worried about coworkers too, because you could have a work wife or like a work husband. People be really saying that. You be saying that?
once upon a time,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Listen,
This is recent
we've
or
all played the game
like
before.
recent?
Yeah, I call my mom my work wife.
Your mom?
I'm being a smartass.
No, I'm talking about
like
okay, because she work with her mom now for people who don't get it.
yeah.
But like I'm talking about recent as in like in the past year that you
No.
worked there.
No, I ain't like them motherfuckers like that. What's wrong with you?
I'm like, you work with some dingy people, okay? Don't
Yeah.
be gassing like that.
Nah, Naya was my work wife. What you talking about?
All right, that's your friend.
Right.
All right, this is not funny.
Right. Um
How do you deal with the situation? I mean, this is definitely hard.
you need some
You
alone
gotta cut
time.
her off for sure, though.
You need to, you know, balance yourself. I don't fucking know, but you need to I'm stressed for you. I'm sorry. Um,
I mean, being cheated on it isn't easy, especially catching them in the action and like, yeah, no, this is a terrible situation. But
pick
for one, you have to cut off communication with her.
pick you first.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are like staying together, if she's like coming to your house, but like, I would literally be like, please leave me alone. I will call the
Take some
cops.
time to yourself, figure out what it is that you want, sort out your feelings, your thoughts. It's gonna take a long time. It's not gonna happen overnight. And there's times where you're gonna want to run back to that person because that's what you've had for however long. But like she said, if you are able to um really put your foot down and cut ties, cut communications, and the necessary things you need for you to get back to you, then that's what needs to happen. Do
Right.
that.
Period.
Last question. My wife and I had been married for 2 years. We were each other's the one that got away. But recently I found out she cheated. She did this a few months before we moved to another state. I left everything behind to support her and her career. She waited a year to tell me what she did. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but this kind of betrayal is beyond heart shattering. Yet, deep down, I still want our marriage to work. I feel like she doesn't deserve it after what she did, but how can you walk away from a marriage so easily?
This story sounds so familiar, but I know we didn't read it. But
And if we did, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
that's so tragic. Like, you guys moved to another state. You left everything behind to support her in her career.
I just feel like
Now you guys are married.
what did your yes, it's the ultimate betrayal, and maybe it's absolutely heart shattering, and you obviously don't want to experience that, but what was your relationship prior to knowing that information? um were you like, was your relationship together good, what you wanted, where you wanted it to be, was it healthy, prior to the bomb that just dropped on you, um because I'm saying that in a sense of what the relationship can be,
Mm-hmm.
with the person aside from the betrayal. So it's like I feel like if you're a person who can get over that situation, then I think there is a good potential that you could still have that happy or like balanced marriage with that person, and maybe you don't have to leave each other. um but it's going to take time and space and a sense of forgiveness to like get over that betrayal and like start new. You understand? I don't know. It's definitely not, it's a lot easier to say than do, but um it just all depends on how much the relationship is really important to you to keep.
Yeah, I mean, she said that deep down she still wants the marriage to work. So I would recommend therapy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
It could
it's
work.
just hard.
People stay together after shit like that happens. And sometimes it takes shit like that to make your relationship even better. I hate to fucking say it, but now you're both in a state where you put an effort in, like you're figuring out like, oh, I guess what led to the fuckery that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're at fault for the fuckery that happened. Absolutely not. But I don't know. Therapy could open up a lot of doors and answer a lot of questions you could essentially have.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
I
it.
agree. Um, I've been watching this show on Prime. It's also on Showtime called Couples Therapy, and it's actually really good. And I feel like you see so many different couples. You even see like gay couples, and I talked about it before, I feel like, but I feel like it kind of gives you an idea of like what therapy would be like. And it could be a little bit stressful because you're like, oh my God, like this is crazy. But I think it gets down to like the root of the issue for sure. But therapy always.
If you know any
Um,
good therapists, let me know.
Therapy is expensive. That's what
That
it
part.
is.
Anyway, that's it for our episode today, y'all. If you have any questions, any things you want us to get into in terms of future topics, DM us, whatever, or drop it in a comment.
We're gonna open our Patreon finally on today, November 6th.
Oh shit, it's the day already?
Yeah. We're gonna have different tiers, but each tier is gonna have a monthly like Let's Chat Zoom where we get to talk to you guys get to talk to us, camera on or camera off, whatever it is that you feel more comfortable with. And yeah, we've been talking about it a lot and we're like, let's get into it. We have so much things to catch you guys up on, and the holidays are coming around, and I just feel like it's a good time to be connected to like the gays, because I feel like the holidays can be hard.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. If you are interested, the link is in our bio, and we're gonna be putting out the date of our live Zoom on Patreon as well. So it's coming up soon. So please make sure to check it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe.
Deuce, deuce, mother goose.
Bye.